Hello and welcome to the 2020 Fleche Wallonne. While it's not real life, it's as close as we're going to get this year, unless we have a rescheduled race further on. Immediately we have attacks, basically straight from the flag drop. Seeing who that is, that's Ben O'Connor I can see up there, and two other riders following him. There's Del Tom and an Arkea Zamzik rider who I'm not sure, Elie Gesbert, who showed his climbing legs at last year's Tour de France. Alongside me today is, once again, Johnny Long.
Good afternoon, Tim. What a day of racing we have ahead of us. Nice to see Elie Gesbert. He's always one of those riders that just always seems to be in every breakaway, no matter what race you're watching. So I have to see how it plays out for him.
Speaking of being in every breakaway, I believe we've got an attack from Danny Navarro behind. That's definitely not a surprise to see him up there. He was in the breakaway in our Amstel Gold race just a couple of days ago.
What better marshal at the front of the peloton than Rohan Dennis, time trial superstar himself? Unless Ineos are happy with who's going further up the road to join the trio, it's not going to be anyone they don't want.
Yeah, Rohan Dennis taking some time out from his memeing on Instagram to chase down some riders trying to go up the road as Mads Schmidt of Israel Startup Nation tries to get away. Tosh van der Sande is also trying to get up there, but Rohan Dennis once again bringing it all back. So it looks like we have a settled down group up front. TJ Van Garderen, Ben O'Connor, Kevin Del Tom, Tom de Vriend and Elie Gesbert as we're coming into the town of Huy, however you say it. Me and Johnny are going to struggle over that for the entire race, but we're coming up to the Mur de Huy for the first time today. Good to have a good look at this now, Johnny.
It's fair to say that the riders will be struggling more than us with our pronunciation as they hit this average grade at 9.8%. TJ Van Garderen, if he can seal this one and be the biggest win of his career. It's tough. Look at them coming almost to a standstill up the climb. 4 minutes 46. Still a long way to go, but they're going to have to work hard to keep that distance from the peloton.
Some fantastic camera angles from the motorbike there as we're about to cross the finish line for the first time.
The riders will be wishing that was it for real instead of having another 124 kilometres to go.
We now look at the peloton starting the climb for the first time. It's definitely a talent-packed group today, as I believe that's Nairo Quintana right at the back of the peloton there. And here come the pack crossing the line for the first time, once again led by Rohan Dennis, the time trial world champion. Inside the last 40 kilometres here in the 2020 Fleche Wallonne, as we see Damiano Caruso from Bahrain McLaren, Remco Evenepoel from De Koning Quickstep, and I believe it's Rohan Dennis still right up at the front as you see all the big favourites up there. Julian Alaphilippe right up towards the front. Do you think it's his day today, Johnny?
He'll be hoping for victory. Quickstep haven't done as well as they were expected to in the Spring Classics this year, so they'll certainly hope to make the selection. Rohan Dennis was just taking some time off from the front of the peloton, a well-deserved break. Our 5-man breakaway, couple minute advantage. They're really going to have to pull out something special with the last 35 kilometres to stay away, you'd think.
As we're on the Côte d'Ain now, the 2.6 kilometres at an average of 5.1%. Not really going to trouble any of the riders, but it's the climbs to come, the Tiers de Huy, which is a rather underused climb around this area, but still about as hard as the final climb up the Mur de Huy, as we're about to find out on these tight roads.
The map of the gradient of the climb is just all red, isn't it? It's more reminiscent of Thierry Henry than the Tiers de Huy. You didn't like that one, Tim.
For those of you who aren't familiar with their footballing references, I doubt you'd get that. But yes, 10.8% average gradient up this monster of a climb. And it's very, very hard to move up too, with very, very tight roads. Now this will be the final 5 kilometres the next time round, of course. We're now on laps, the local laps around Huy. It's Elie Gesbert and Ben O'Connor leading them down, as we see behind the peloton is in bits down this descent. It must be so stressful for riders further back. You don't know whether to follow the riders exactly, as we see some issues. I think it's Jelle Vanender for one only Brussels trying to pull the main bulk of the peloton. You see most of Team Ineos have been caught out by that as well.
And up front, they're all starting to attack each other. TJ Van Garderen went first. Now we'll just have to see if those three are split off. We can't see at the minute if the two behind are still there. Oh, they've just been distanced.
Yeah, they've just been distanced, and they've just been brought back by Gianluca Brambilla, so they've been caught by the peloton now, as Bob Jungels, I believe, is the man coming towards the front.
See, and after the climb with the final 5k, as we just saw, Tim, any rider that was distanced just before the summit, they'll have that chance to go hell for leather to get back onto the group before the finish line.
And also it'll give possibly an advantage to the riders up front, because once they've attacked and gone over the top, they have the opportunity to maybe ease back a bit on the descent and maybe have less stress than the riders chasing on behind. As you see, Ben O'Connor tries to get away, but Elie Gesbert and TJ Van Garderen once again pulling back.
Bob Jungels doing a massive turn on the front here as a group of around 15 to 20 riders just start to break away from the rest of the pack and chase down that breakaway.
Yeah, it looks like the breakaways' days are now very much numbered, as we see Education First right up there once again with Simon Clark. I think today he's looking after Rigoberto Urán for the interest in the win, as we see Team Ineos basically en masse having to chase on with this huge peloton. Chris Froome, Mikhail Kwiatkowski, Gianni Moscon, Ivan Sosa, all working hard for, I believe, Geraint Thomas. It's all up front. Julian Alaphilippe trying to escape very early on. 15 kilometres to go as we're heading towards the Côte d'Ain yet again. Can he stay away, or will he be brought back?
He must have been able to smell the breakaway up ahead, Tim, and he just wants to use him as a launch pad before hopefully making a break for the line. He's really committed to this one as he tucks in on this sort of descent through the town.
Yeah, he's already swallowed up the breakaway. That's amazing. I believe the breakaway is now tucked in with what's left of the peloton. I don't even think we can call it a peloton anymore, as he's on the Côte d'Ain now for the final time on his own. This is exactly what he would have wanted. It's rare to see attacks going off. As we speaking of attacks, we see Bauke Mollema, I think, and he's got a Barry McLaren rider on his wheel. That's probably going to be Dylan Teuns.
Within a blink of an eye, the race has turned on its head, and what other man would be able to do that than Julian Alaphilippe, showing his form yet again, Tim.
Yeah, Julian Alaphilippe, of course, the star of the 2019 season with that incredible Tour de France. Didn't quite come off for him, of course, with Team Ineos once again taking the title. But we're coming on to the Tiers de Huy now, and it looks like it's going to be between these three men, as really behind the chase, David Gaudu for Groupama Français des Jeux is the only man looking like he's wanted to chase. Yeah, it's going to be between these three as we have 3 kilometres left as we head to the Mur de Huy.
Valverde, Aguirre, Urán, all trying to chase back on. Looking like it could be too late now.
It is too little too late as we hit the final climb. The motorbike pulling away a bit too early on there, so we're losing sight of them, and the helicopter can't see them either. Looked like Julian Alaphilippe was the man leading them through, and it looks like Alaphilippe is going to take the win. Well, no surprise there. La Fleche Wallonne 2020 goes to De Koenig Quickstep's Julian Alaphilippe, a strong second place for Dylan Teuns, who always performs well in this race, and Trek Segafredo's Bauke Mollema rounds out the podium. The Mr. Fleche Wallonne himself, Alejandro Valverde, getting 4th ahead of Urán, Gaudu, Adam Yates, Yoni de Guerre, and the rest.
Julian Alaphilippe showed that his 2019 form wasn't just a flash in the pan. He's truly back. He's brushed away the cobwebs. He threw his hands up to celebrate before the line, well before it had meters to go, that he was so confident he secured the victory. Dylan Teuns seems to be a nearly man. He's got the form to hopefully go one better next year. He'll take courage from that. And Bauke Mollema, a strong ride from him, especially keeping Valverde outside of the podium places this time. Well deserved Alaphilippe. We'll have to see what he can do on the road the rest of this year, if he can match up to his 2019 form.